Hello dear aquarist, thank you for watching my video. Today it's about the most important aquarium fish diseases of our freshwater fish. And I made specially this video because it concentrates on the problems you quite often deal with. So watch my video and I show you the fish swimming with the diseases on them and also my macroscopic findings in a short video about 9 to 10 minutes. Oh, I don't know how long it will take, but I will make it not too long so it's worthwhile watching until the end. And I will give you some advice what you can do about it. Yes, please watch, and maybe if you like it, you like this video, you just push the button or you subscribe to my channel to learn more about fish diseases. So I share you what I can find in my work about these most important fish diseases. And I also do this in French language, in German language and Dutch language. See the links which I post here below in my YouTube channel. Well, the most important fish diseases which I can talk to you about here today in this presentation is white spot disease or ick, bacterial infections in fish, turbidity of the skin caused by parasites, spironucleus or X-hexameta, internal parasites which are common with cichlids like discus and angelfish, and skin flukes, worms, which we find quite often on goldfish, fantails, oranda and livebearers. So watch here. This is already here my first video and presentation on the white spot disease on ick. Here the clown loads on the left and here on the right from a tail on a fantail. And of course showing you the fish in reality. It's what you might have seen already when you deal with tropical fish. Yes, unfortunately it's common. It can happen that we find these white spots on our fish in many of our tropical fish. Here it's on around the line heads. And here we see it's not a spot, it's a little animal. It's a parasite. It's a protozoa with little hairs, little cilia that move around on the skin of the fish and can cause damage. And due to the damage, the fish can die. So it's a little animal. That's why you have to take particular care of good treatments. Bacterial infection is the number 2. And here, particularly columnaris disease, common like on the swordtail here. Look at that necrotic patch. Or here the betta with like a saddlebag. And the guppy losing the color of the tail. Or here the discus at the end of his body, all full necrotic because of bacteria eating on the fish. And here we see it on a discus in a show, in an exhibition where there's a show of beautiful discus, but it can get damaged. They can get bacteria here, the pectoral fin. And here you see the bacteria having a necrotic tissue around the eye and the head. That is something, when you see this, you cannot wait for treating because also the bacteria will eventually go into the gills and infect the gills. So actions to take as soon as you see this. And this is what the bacteria looks like in a microscope. You see the dark area is full of bacteria covering the scales, and then we see the bacteria here and here, all like little, how can I say, tufts of tubifex that is moving around, and that's what you can see and observe in a microscope. And here we see it at a higher magnification. This is how beautiful a microscope can tell you. Look at the bacteria here in the groups, and you see them like little hairs moving around. You can see it here on the right. See, you can see it. And that is calls telling us, well, this is a columnaris bacteria, and then we can handle appropriately with the good treatments which I can suggest in my books. Yes, details for treatment you can get in my books and a lot of photographs and details. Please, I give you the link that you can buy them at the end of my presentation. Turbidity of the skin, number 3, or fine dust, something that is covering the body of the fish. Look here, this Nanacara dwarf cichlid. Look, the cloudiness, the slime extra covering on the back of this fish. Or here, the very thin, small white specks, pepper-like things sitting on the skin. So the fish were troubled, and here we see it in a video on harlequin tetras, Harlequin rasbora. Sorry, it's not a tetra, it's a Harlequin rasbora. And here the Cyprinidae, it's a carp-like species. You can see it on the tails. You can see the little dusty appearance, not clear, nice finish. So, and here I can show something else. The turbidity of the skin on platies, caused by the parasites Ichthyobodo. You see them shaking, wobbling, shivering. Well, you can see this fish is troubled by something that is causing a disease, and the fish will eventually die if you don't take action. Well, this is all caused by parasites. And here I show you that Oodinium is like little spots attached to the body and covering like a pepper-like. And then the Ichthyobodo is like parasites. Yes, and that is causing, of course, irritation of the skin, and that's why the fish produce extra mucus, turbidity, cloudiness. Look at these little animals. These are little parasites and really affecting the fish, and eventually the fish will die because of the damage and maybe also the bacteria that come up. Or used to be called Hexamita, and if you're a cichlid lover, Malawi or Tanganyika, or you like South American cichlids like angelfish, Pterophyllum species, or discus lovers, they know a lot about Spironucleus because it's very common in these kind of fish. And here we see a bunch of discus sitting in a tank from a breeder, and you can see the dark ones. Here they're getting skinny, they waste away, and sometimes they have slimy excrements, and there you can find the parasites. And you take out the weak ones, and that's what I do in my work. I examine the weak ones which are dying, and I can see then inside in the gut I see the parasites, the Spironucleus. You can see them here, thousands of them, which are attacking the wall of the intestine or the gut, and it's causing damage. So the fish will have difficulty in eating, have taken up his minerals, his vitamins, his food sources, because the gut is affected by parasites. Number 5, last but not least, skin flukes. Skin flukes, mostly what we find is Gyrodactylus species, causing like tail rot in this rasa, or causing the clamping of the fish weakening and laying down, and scratching. This is all flukes, it's worms. And that is making a serious impact on the health of the fish. And here we see it on swordtails, Dixiphophorus. You can see them wobbling, the tails are frayed, and you see a little bit maybe a coating, but you see particularly the fish is very much suffering and is very unhappy, and they will die in the next 24 hours, 48 hours. Well, you have to take a skin scraping. Take a skin scraping for a fish like that, and then you can find what it is. Go to your veterinarian, go to your pet shop, they can help you. And here I show you how it looks like in a microscope. That's how it looks like. Isn't that terrible? You have all those little bugs, worms, are sitting here on the tail and causing damage and serious lesions. And that is not what you want. This is something you can see here in the higher magnification. They are attached with hooks. And those hooks is causing damage and causing serious lesions, and bacteria can come in and the fish will get the tail rot or other problems. Well, as I can show you, our eyes are limited. We need a microscope to make in many cases a correct diagnosis. That is a help. And a help is also for you is my book on fish diseases with details on treatments. I give you the link below. Well, for this reason, that you've been watching me, I must thank you, because watching my work is something I'm proud of, that you're part of my profession as a consultant. I'm a consultant in the fish industry. And what does a consultant do? Well, it's someone who does precision guesswork based on unreliable data provided by those of questionable knowledge. So I'm a wizard or a magician. Well, I use a microscope and I use my experience, and I hope that helped you to become or stay as a good fish hobbyist. Thank you for watching, and subscribe.